Hello, I'm Beverly Neal Clinton, creator of Woman Thou Art Stressed. First and foremost, I want to congratulate you for being an action taker. Over the next several moments, you're going to discover how to permanently eliminate stress in 7 minutes or less. I'm going to let you in on a little secret that's going to be just between you and me. When I invented this program, I didn't realize that designing a process could be so stressful. I've always had a lot of stress from being a marine stenographer. I've always used these 3 steps, but I just didn't know it was a process. I thought that these steps were just the lessons you learned as you got older. And then I thought, if this information I'm sharing with you was a given and everybody knew it, then why is everyone so stressed? If it were available, wouldn't we all be less stressed? Shouldn't it just be available to you now? Everything else is. Well, I want to share a very short story with you about diamonds that I feel answers that question. Every life, like diamonds, has challenges. Bouncing back from those devastating challenges is what keeps us happy and healthy. These challenges can be anything like the death of a spouse, getting divorced, being separated from your spouse, imprisonment of a loved one, death of a close family member, your personal injury, and even dismissal from work. People who acknowledge the difficulties in their lives move through these challenges without resentment, and they have the capacity to return to themselves, and then they're ready for the next adventure. As a result of their choices, they're blessed with qualities that not only make them gorgeous, but fosters even more beauty in their own lives and in the lives of others with whom they come in contact. You need to know that resilience speaks to having the power to choose how you handle your stress. So today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to realize and acknowledge what we know, release what doesn't serve us, and recreate those qualities that make us precious, valuable, and unique. I don't have to tell you about the statistics that link stress, obesity, health-related illnesses, and anxiety together and the havoc they cause. But I am. When I say that stress is killing you, don't take my word for it. Look at these numbers. These pretty little balloons and dollar signs and scary faces, all provided by the American Institute of Stress, illustrate that 44% of Americans feel more stressed than they did just 5 years ago. So as you go to work and become aware of the aches in your back and the pains in your neck and the dull sensations of a headache, be advised that every year, $300 billion in medical bills and productivity is lost. So how many times do you go to work knowing that you've got that pain? Now that $300 billion is also $100 billion more than what obesity costs Americans. Think about that the next time you go to the snack machine for your little hit. The statistics. Did you know that work-related stress causes 10% of strokes? How about right now, 1 in 5 Americans are experiencing extreme stress states that produce shaking, heart palpitations, and depression. That means right now someone that you know is dealing with depression and experiencing some form of stress. And finally, this statistic isn't up there, but just so you know, stress increases your risk of having a stroke by 50%. And I'm sure you know that I could go on, but this really does seem like a good place to stop. When is the last time you felt appreciated for who you are and not what you do? How often do you feel invisible and discouraged? I asked because you have got to get that you matter. Every day, I'm fortunate to be able to work with my clients and give as well as receive mutual benefits from our exchange. Can you imagine how that feels? Can you imagine creating the space where those with whom you come in contact choose to change their life in a way that works for them? Can you imagine how it feels when you realize there's so many different possibilities to what you thought was a problem? I can. And I can tell you that it is a gift to me as well when I'm there present with you, seeing the light bulbs go off in your head. If you're listening to this video, something tells me that you're a natural-born problem solver. Have you ever thought about what happens to you when all you do is solve other people's problems? What if each grain of salt represents a problem? Losing your sleep, losing your hair, and sometimes even losing your mind from other people's stress is cumulative. It happens over time. And just like a salt shaker has a finite amount of salt that holds those grains of salt, when they run out, there's nothing left to give. It's all spent. And you're the same way. If you don't refill your shaker, all you have is memories. Some good, some bad. But let me tell you why I'm grateful for memories. Now, some folks make stuff up. Some folks bury stuff. Some folks create stuff. I buried my stuff. I buried it so well that I would lie to myself and say I didn't remember certain portions of my life. When people ask me, how is it that I'm so resilient and how do I handle stress so well? I say 2 words. Teal Neal. Tillman Arthur Neal was my father. He had a reputation that was bigger than life. And in the 50s and 60s, you didn't have access to information like you do today. It took some time for information to flow and travel. In Camden, South Carolina, though, these 2 words, that name, my father, Teal Neal, was known from county line to county line and beyond. No matter where I went, all over the state, everybody knew my father. I grew up hearing from them that if it, and here's where you can fill in the blank, if it didn't kill them, it ain't gonna kill you. Have you ever heard a bullet whistle as it zips by your head? I have. How about have you ever smelled wet dirt from a bullet as you see it kick up around your shoes, and then you smell nail polish, but then you ask, where did that sound come from? I've done that too. I remember running out of the front door of our house with my mother, hiding under the house in the dark with spider webs in my hair, trying to be so still so my father wouldn't know we were under the house. And then hearing the chorus, I ain't nothing but a child of God. To this day, if I hear that song, even in passing, I still have to catch myself because I feel my heart jump, because I instinctively want to hold my breath. Because when I was under that house in the dirt, trying to be quiet, being so still that I could hear my heartbeat in my ears, that I knew I was going to change me and my life. I knew my mother was just protecting her child, but I resolved then and there to rewrite my future. This hiding, it's not my life. This is not who I am. I don't run. I don't hide. And my life matters. So what if his stray bullets rhythmically and randomly shooting through our house on the chorus of that song didn't kill me? What if I realized that his fears, their dreams, shrinking, hiding, and choking down emotions, hearing the footsteps above my head on the floorboards, not my responsibility? What if I could release the strong hold he had on my mind, strangling the life out of me and tearing up my soul to teach me to keep my head down and my mouth shut? What if I'm willing to release family, father, mother, sister, brother, cousin, uncle, auntie, and totally be free? Free to love me and accept me. What if I could recreate how I can get along without being quiet, without shoving all of my thoughts down my throat, and instead of knowing my place, recreate my place in a world that's supportive and nurturing and fun and inviting? They say the lessons you learn at home are the lessons you keep. There's something about having my own father shoot at me that steals and anchors the roots of who I am. So, if that one of many firing exercises did not keep me quiet, did not stress me out, cause me to lose my mind, cause me to live in fear, I'm here to let you know that I am you. I'm still here, and so are you. Now, you may not have had your father shoot at you, but you have your own story. And as you've heard mine, I'm sure your mind took you back to hearing your heartbeat in your ears, or you felt the warmth of that open-handed slap across your face, and you remember how it stung. You're stronger, and you're resilient. You're still here. Just as you remembered your story, know now that you can change it. Know that I work with you to use that strength to recreate your life. Now, to anyone else, that could be a showstopper, or at least cause a hitch in the giddy-up. But what if there's a way to be in the midst of your storms? And certainly there are always those storms on the horizon, and not to be tossed around or beat down. What if there's a way that leads you to laughter, joy, and fulfillment? What if that way makes you uncomfortable? Did you know that growth, significant growth, is not comfortable? If you want convenience, just stay where you are. If you want to change, that's where I come in, and that's what I do. You're at a crossroads. Imagine the possibilities that are available to you now. Imagine how you could be in the world if everything changed. It does require starting where you stand right now, releasing all of your anger that blows up in your gut, giving you stomach pain, the stress in your temples as your head pounds, and the anxiety you can touch as your hands start to sweat. Take the step and change the direction that you're going in. Your life is yours. You're the gift. If you're serious about wanting to be that person, be sure to stick around until the end, because I've got something that will help you become the person you want to be much faster. Step 1, realization. Now, of course, I'm using me so as not to call you out, and you already know my dirty laundry, but you also know who you are. But how would it feel to go with the flow of your own experiences with ease and stop stressing? So what if instead of hiding, you practiced your resilience in a way that made people wonder, what is different about you? Have you ever had those moments when you realized you were doing all the fighting and the person you were helping is just standing there watching you from the sidelines, and no matter what you do, it was never enough? That's realization. Step 2, just like a diamond starts off as a piece of coal, the fire burns until the beauty inside of it comes through. And when that happens, when you have that realization, you become aware of everyone and everything around you. When you release that which is not yours, you honor yourself and anyone else with whom you become engaged. When you release and let go, you're free, and they're free, to create or choose something else totally different. The third and final R is recreate. Did you know that your brain has absolutely no way of distinguishing reality from imagination? Albert Einstein said logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. When you look at this 3D image, doesn't it look real? Doesn't it feel like they're all scrambling to get out of that sinkhole? So what if you choose to be as healthy as a 20-year-old with a heart that beats perfectly instead of feeling the aching palpitations in your chest? What if, instead of being frazzled from overwhelm when you see it, you're as cool as a cucumber when you hit that door after a long day at work, and the children aren't ready, and the dinner isn't cooked, and the dog has just peed in the middle of the floor? You can smell it, still fresh. What if the weight you've gained and you beat yourself up over changes to complement every curve of your body, so that when you walk in the room, your husband smiles and everyone turns their head and asks, how does she do that? How is it she doesn't ever age? Just like this 3D image where this picture seems real, everything you know right now is because you are creating it based on what you know. So where do you struggle? When's the last time your husband looked at you and you knew it was probably naughty? Is it in your mind? Does it ever stop racing? Is it your anger? Your nerves are beyond burned out. Is it caring for yourself? When's the last time you put on lingerie that matched and you smiled all day because your body was happy, saying, good choice? Okay, I hope you found this training valuable, realistic, and full of useful information. I'm sure by now you've got some questions, so let's lay a new foundation to change your direction and create something different, something that you want. I've given you examples of how your life is versus what it could be. Let's look at what you'd like to change. You tell me where you want to start. I'm committed to you eliminating stress by loosening the grip you have on the bottle. Get up off the couch and walk away from the pills. I'm committed to you finding your mind, anchoring your soul, being at peace with who you are, and looking in the mirror for the last time at burnout, obesity, low to no sex drive, and heart diseases. Do you remember when I asked you to stick around until the end because I had something that could help you? What I'd like to do is offer you a $500 complimentary strategy session with me so that we can chat. Let's look at where you are and where you want to be. Then we can start by mapping out your game plan, and then I assist you in making it happen. That's what I can do. Now, let's see what you could do. You could do things as you've always done them, and undoubtedly you'll get to where you're going. Now let me share with you what I found. The time I spent piecemealing together information was confusing, and I'd look around and I'd still be where I was last year. Yeah, I could say I moved along a little bit from where I was the year before, but I was still researching and still getting freebies, and I didn't have anything to show for all my work. I was so busy. I looked and I felt like I was doing so much, but honestly, it wasn't until I found a coach to move me, to see what I couldn't see, that I discovered how to work smarter so I could play more. Or you could click the button and get started today, right now. Don't wait. Your life changes when you change your life. Well, here we are at the end of our time together, and I want to thank you for letting me take a moment of your time to share with you what I found, and to simply say that if I can do this, live this life in a way where I consistently, daily eliminate stress and show others how to do the same, so can you. You have the power to choose. You can go back and click the button, and it'll redirect you to a short forum where you'll answer a few questions, and I promise you, as soon as I receive your response, you and I will speak within the next 24 hours. To your continued successes.